Here's something that genuinely messed with my head when I first figured it out. Two people, same city, similar salaries. 10 years later, one owns property, has investments quietly growing in the background, and barely stresses about money. The other is still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where it all goes. Same income, completely different outcomes. The difference wasn't luck, it wasn't a side hustle or some get-rich-quick scheme. It was purely how they divided their money every single month. And today, I'm going to show you the exact same system, one that anyone can follow, regardless of how much you currently earn. But before we get into it, quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I'm sharing today is for educational purposes only, based on research and what genuinely works for a lot of people. Always do your own research and speak to a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Cool? Let's go. Most people manage money the same way. Paycheck comes in, bills go out, whatever's left gets spent, usually on things you can't even remember buying 2 weeks later. And then the cycle resets. The brutal truth is that nobody teaches us this stuff. Not school, not our parents in most cases. So we just wing it and hope for the best. But here's what I've come to understand. It's rarely an income problem. Most people earning decent money are still broke at month's end. It's a structure problem. And structure is something you can fix starting today. So here it is, the 4-bucket rule. Every time you get paid, split your money into 4 buckets before you do anything else. Bucket 1, 25% growth. The first 25% goes straight into growth. This is the money that works for you while you're sleeping, eating, or stuck in traffic. Now, when I say growth, I don't mean risky gambling or picking random stocks. I mean putting money into assets that increase in value over time. The best starting point for most people? Index funds, specifically something like an S&P 500 fund. You're essentially buying a tiny slice of 500 of the biggest companies in the world. You don't need to watch charts daily or stress about individual stocks. You just let it compound quietly in the background. And here's why starting early matters more than starting big. Someone who invests a smaller amount from age 20 will almost always end up wealthier than someone who invests more but starts at 30. That's compound growth doing its thing over time. Also, make sure you're using tax-advantaged accounts. In the US, that's your Roth IRA or 401k. In the UK, it's your stocks and shares ISA. These accounts let your money grow without unnecessary tax eating into your returns. That alone can make a massive difference over decades. Automate this transfer on payday. If you never see it sitting in your account, you won't miss it. Bucket 2, 50% essentials. The next 50% covers your genuine essentials: rent, groceries, utilities, transport, insurance, the things that actually keep your life running. Notice I said genuine essentials, not the 3 streaming subscriptions you rotate through, not the gym membership collecting dust since February, not the food delivery apps that sneak out 80 pounds a week before you even notice. Go through your bank statements right now. Seriously, cancel anything you're not actively using. It's one of the fastest ways to free up real money. The 2 biggest areas to control here are housing and transport. These 2 alone can make or break your monthly budget. Negotiate your rent when your lease renews. Buy a reliable used car instead of leasing something new to impress people who aren't thinking about you anyway. And whenever you're tempted to buy something impulsively, pause for 7 days. If you still want it after a week, it's probably worth considering. Most of the time, you'll forget about it entirely. Bucket 3, 15% stability. This one gets skipped more than any other, and it's the one that saves people when everything goes wrong. 15% of your income goes into a stability fund. Think of it as your financial shock absorber. Job loss, car breakdown, unexpected medical bill. Life doesn't warn you before it hits. Your target is 5 times your monthly essential expenses sitting somewhere accessible, 0 risk, and ideally earning interest. A high-yield savings account works perfectly for this. You want it liquid, meaning you can access it within 24 hours if needed. Never lock this money up in investments, because when an emergency happens, the market might be down at exactly that moment. Once this bucket is full, you redirect that 15% back into your growth bucket and watch things accelerate. Bucket 4, 10% rewards. And finally, 10% is yours to enjoy, guilt-free. This isn't a bonus, it's actually a strategy, because people who save without ever enjoying their money eventually snap and blow everything in one weekend. Sustainable habits need breathing room. Open a separate account. Call it whatever motivates you. Transfer exactly 10% every payday automatically. Then spend it on things that actually matter to you. A weekend trip, a dinner with friends, a hobby you love, a thoughtful gift for someone important. When it hits zero, you wait until next month. That limit is actually what makes it powerful, because you start being intentional about what genuinely makes you happy versus what just looks appealing in the moment. So let's recap the 4-bucket rule. 25% goes into growth, assets and investments working for you. 50% covers your true essentials, nothing more. 15% builds your stability fund, your financial safety net. 10% is your reward spent with zero guilt. The magic of this system isn't that it's complicated, it's the opposite. It's so simple that once you automate it, it just runs in the background while you focus on earning more and living your life. You don't need a massive salary to start, you just need to start. Even if your first investment is $20, that's $20 building a habit that could genuinely change your financial future. If this was useful, make sure you subscribe, because we break down money concepts like this every week in plain, simple English.